Hey guys, this is Rob from RuinWorks. I'm here bringing you our latest release, the Grand Library. This is a 5-level scene, and I'll go through it with you today. We'll start off with levels, so here we're showing all the roofs, down to the restricted books area, the rotunda, the stair level, and then our ground floor. The scene is just as it sounds. It is a large library in the city, but I've added a few RuinWorks perks to it, which you will hopefully find some use for. So as always, I'll just mention quickly, we do have interaction points to climb the stairs to different levels. You can access the journal note in the top left of the scene. So first thing to note here is you can turn on and off all the lights, all the little candelabras or candles, any of them, just by double clicking them. So they all will update the tile with the lights, as well as turn the lights on themselves. Then in the top left here, we also have by floor light control. So if you want all the lights on or off on any of the floors, you can just click on the little light bulb icon in the margins there, and it'll turn on all the lights for that floor. Or you can turn them off by clicking it again. You can see it's going through and turning off all the lights for you. Same can be done rotunda level and the restricted books level as well. So the main feature of the first floor here are these 3 statues in the middle of the scene. I imagine this area is where people would get their books and then come to read, basking in the light from the large windows on this floor and the rotunda level above. So these statues themselves can be rotated, and this can be done in 2 different ways. And the reason you want to rotate them is that once they are aligned in the correct positioning, this center circle here will descend into the floor, revealing a staircase underground. So the ways in which you can rotate them are in the right margin. At the top here we have the blue control panel. This is for manually controlling how the statues rotate. So if you want to make sure that you're always in control, you can use the blue control panel, and you can just hit the little rotate button. So for statue 1, you'd hit this rotate button and you can see it rotates 45 degrees. If you continue to rotate it, it'll just keep on rotating around in a circle. And the same can be done for statues 2 and 3. And these just keep on rotating statues around. Just want to point out here that rotating using the manual controls does not do anything to the statue rotation tracker, so the trackers will not move if you're using the manual controls. This is just for you to use yourself. So these buttons are literally just to rotate the statues. Now to open the stair in the middle, if you want to do it manually, you can hit the open stairs button here instead of going through the tracking method. And to open the stairs, you just click the button, and you can probably hear the stairs descending into the ground there. This could lead into a dungeon, to a hidden portion of the library, or maybe into old crypts. When I was working on this, I kept on thinking back to Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade and how they found X marks the spot on the floor. This is another way where you might go through a library to enter some underground catacombs. If you don't want to use it manually and you decide you want to use the rotation tracker, I'll reset it first quickly. So you hit the reset button, puts all the statues back to the starting position, and closes the stairs. If you want to use the rotation tracker, you would need to use the interaction points, but you might say, Rob, there are no interaction points here to rotate these statues in the middle. Well, I have this button here underneath the tracker for turning the statue interaction points on and off. The reason I did this was so that players did not immediately know they could do something to the statues. They might have to do a bit of investigation before figuring out that rotating the statues is what needed to be done. So right now there's no interaction points because the statue interaction points is off. If you click it, it'll turn to on, and now you can see the interaction points, exclamation marks appear over top of the statues, and players' tokens can now rotate the statues themselves using these interaction points. So I got my tester out now. I've removed his vision just so as GM I can see everything that's going on. So if I take my tester, double click on the interaction point, ask me if I want to turn the statue, I say yes, you'll notice the statue turned, and also the statue 2 tracker in this column here moved down 1 spot. The statue will be correctly aligned when the tracker is in its hashed tile. Here it is at 225 degrees. So we'll just keep on rotating it until it gets there. One more. And as soon as it hits its tile, you can see the stair activation counter has now moved down to 1. So that means 1 statue is in the correct location. If we want to move over to statue 1, we can see statue 1 only needs to be moved 45 degrees. You can just turn it once, it's in its hash tile, the stair activation counter moves down another. So 2 of the statues are now aligned. And now if we go with the last one, we can just keep on turning this until it is in hashed box again. And as soon as it enters this hashed box, the stair activation counter drops into the third spot as all 3 statues are not properly aligned. And this last hash tile for the stair activation counter activates the stairs opening. So that's how the automated version of the secret staircase works. You might be wondering, well, why are they required to be turned to these certain angles? Well, I've based it on a simple clue at the top of the statue rotation panels. Clue is, true knowledge is only revealed when like minds unite and like eyes meet. What does that mean? Well, if you look at the first level of this library a bit more closely, you can see the 3 statues in the middle have an identical counterpart elsewhere in the library. So we see this dwarf statue in the middle, there is a dwarf statue here. We see the librarian statue on the right, it has a librarian statue over here on the outer wall on the left. And lastly, the king statue is duplicated on the right side. So the clue indicates that true knowledge will be revealed when like minds unite and like eyes meet. So like eyes means each of these statues has to be facing its counterpart. These 2 statues are alike, so their eyes must meet. So you must rotate the statues until they are facing each other. These outer statues don't rotate, so you have to rotate the middle ones for them to align. And that's why I've selected these specific angles for the rotations of those statues, as at these angles, each of the statues will be facing its counterpart. So that's the basic idea behind the puzzle. I didn't put the clue anywhere on the scene itself, as I thought that's going to be very game dependent. Maybe your players do some research and find a book with it in there. Maybe they find dead librarian grasping a scroll that contains this message, or maybe they get this clue from someone outside of the library itself. My game, I was considering putting it as a plaque beneath the statue outside. So there's just a bunch of different ways your players can get that information, but that's the clue they'll need in order to figure out the stairs below the library. Okay, so that kind of brings us to the end of the first level. I'll give my token back a bit of vision here, just so when I'm showing you the stairs, it'll work a bit more easily. So again, as normal, we have our stairs. So we can move up to level 2 stairs now. In my mind, the first floor should be 20 feet tall, but I didn't want to have different levels with a different elevation, so I made a second elevation in the middle of the stairs to go from 10 to 20 feet. So we can click a second interaction point on that level to get up to the rotunda level, and as you can see, the rotunda level has more books, looks down on the statues below, kind of brings players' focus back to these statues, there's something happening with them, but also gives them a clue to where the restricted area of the library might be, which is up at the top of the stairs from this rotunda level up to the 3rd level of the restricted books area. But when they get up to this level, they might be wondering, well, hey, how do we get over to those stairs? It's all blocked off. There's a wall here, there's railings here. I don't want to jump 10-15 feet to try grabbing onto some stairs. Well, the only way to get to this staircase here is if you go back down to the ground floor. There is a door at the librarian's counter, and you would have to be escorted up these stairs up to the rotunda here before being able to climb these final set of stairs into the restricted books area. I'll just point out on this level, all the lights are again, you just double click them all and they will all turn on. And if we use the rotunda lights button, it'll just switch them all on for you. Okay, so what's so special about this restricted book area? Well, why don't we go up to the restricted books level and we'll show you what it's all about. So use the interaction point to climb up. I'll just show you in the GM view what it looks like. This level is kind of suspended above the statues on the first floor. It's kind of a floating level held up by these arches that have been built out through the library. So you can see they've kind of all come together in order to support this one chamber. And this is where the restricted books would be. This is where, you know, you'd have your powerful spell books, where you might have your evil magics written on them, the taboo things, the restricted things, the dangerous knowledge. Of course, that means that it will be well guarded. So on this floor, there's a trap when you open the door into the restricted area. So let's say the door is unlocked. As soon as the door is opened, the GM will be sent a prompt. So the door is now open, but the game has paused, and the GM has sent the prompt. Someone has opened the door to the restricted area, level 3. Activate poison trap. On yes, poison gas will show for 10 seconds and sound will play. Damage is not automated. So if you hit yes, you should be able to hear a bit of a hissing sound as the gas is put into the room, and slowly this green poison gas will fade away. Damage is not automated, and if you don't want to use it, you can just hit the no instead. So same thing, but this time we'll hit no, and nothing happens. On this level, I did change the lights, so you have to single right-click the lights on this level, just because some of the lights overlap on the different levels, and double-clicking a light here, a candle here, might light a candle on a floor below, so I just changed the input command, so if you just right-click them, they will turn on and off. Last thing on this third floor is the book here in the middle can be customized. We can double-click this, and it will just cycle through all your different kind of book options. I kind of made them chained, thinking back to the White Tower in Game of Thrones, Old Town, how they all had the books chained in the restricted area so they couldn't really be moved that easily. And if you need to read one, you can probably pull the chain out so you can put it on this table and read it. Okay, I will see you guys all soon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you liked it. Bye for now.